My beloved, before you read another line, breathe with me. Let your chest rise and fall as if you were drawing in a promise and exhaling the weight you have been carrying. I have been watching, waiting for the moment when your heart would tilt just enough to hear me plainly. This message is not for the crowd. It is not a general encouragement tossed into the noise. I have reserved something, intentionally, tenderly, that only you can receive. It has your name woven into it like a secret on the inside of a letter, and I am handing it to you now because I know what has been hollowing out your days and quietly eroding your hope. Hear this first and hold it. You were never accidental, and nothing about you is misplaced. The reservation I speak of existed before the first sunrise of your life. It was kept in the quiet places of heaven, waiting until your readiness and my perfect timing met. There are gifts that cannot be given twice, doors that swing only once, words that land only when the heart is open. This is one of those moments. Do not look for it to arrive like fireworks and fanfare. My ways are sometimes very ordinary, so that you will be forced to recognize the extraordinary in the simple. The thing I reserved for you might come as a healed relationship, a clear next step, a sudden idea that unlocks months of confusion, provision that arrives with perfect timing, or a peace that settles in your bones and will not be stolen. It might be a quiet conviction that reshapes how you see yourself, less defined by shame and more defined by purpose. Whatever shape it takes, know this: it is tailored for the contours of your life. No one else could carry it the way you must. No one else has the particular scars and strengths that make you the right steward for what I am about to place in your hands. I have watched you rehearse your smallness until it sounded like the only truth, and I want to correct that lie gently. You are designed for bearing. You have been trained by the very trials you despised. Each difficulty polished a facet of your compassion. Each loss taught you how to treasure what is real. Each season of waiting sharpened your faith. I do not reserve gifts for the flawless. I reserve them for the faithful. Faithfulness is not flashy. It is the quiet persistence of getting up, showing up, and choosing love again and again. If you have been faithful with little, now is the time the little becomes a reservoir. If you have stumbled often, know that stumbles are not disqualifications, but part of the making. You will not receive this reserved thing because you earned it perfectly. You will receive it because I saw your willingness. I recognized your longing, and I crafted a match that none other could fulfill. Do not let the enemy lie to you about timing. You will be tempted to say, if only I were richer, stronger, older, younger, wiser, freer. But the reserve I speak of is not for the ready, it is for the willing. Willingness is a strange currency that buys more than gold ever could. It buys courage, it buys risk, it buys a hand steady enough to hold a fragile blessing without crushing it. Will you be willing to receive an answer that requires change? Will you be willing to step into a responsibility that asks more of your heart? The reservation will come with invitations to forgive, to rebuild, to dedicate, to serve. Do not fear the invitations. Embrace them. They are the sign that the gift is meant to be lived, not merely possessed. There will be times in the next days when you think nothing is happening. In those empty pockets, practice noticing. Watch for small confirmations. A word in a conversation that lands like a key, a door that opens when you least expect it, an idea that arrives at 2 in the morning and will not leave you until you act on it. Keep a simple ledger of these signs, a written record so that when doubt returns, you can recall the evidence that I have been moving on your behalf. Memory is a holy tool against despair. The angels love to leave breadcrumbs. Your job is to follow them with hopeful, obedient feet. When you receive what has been reserved, steward it with both humility and courage. Humility will stop pride from stealing the joy, and courage will keep you from hiding the gift from the world. There are things I give so that they may multiply. Hoarding will never please me. Use what you are given to repair what needs repair, to create what has not existed, and to bless those who will never be able to repay. Ask for wisdom to know the difference between prudent saving and fearful holding. Plan, but do not plan in a way that strangles wonder. Make wise decisions, consult trusted counsel, and keep your heart unhardening to generosity. A reserved gift is often a seed meant for a harvest larger than one life. You will meet resistance, sometimes gentle, sometimes severe. Some of the resistance will be external, naysayers, systemic obstacles, misunderstandings. Some will be internal, fear, the temptation to return to old comforts, the ghost of not enough whispering in your ear. Name these resistances when they come. Speak to them in the voice of truth. I am loved. I am chosen. I am equipped. Remember that courage often looks like persistent small obedience rather than grand feats. Take one intentional step each day toward the thing you sense I am calling you to, and I will consecrate your steps. I do not promise a life without struggle, but I promise to be present, steadying each stride. Let me speak to the places you guard most fiercely, your shame, your grief, your secret longings. These are the rooms where the reservation finds its tenderest entry. I reserve not because I enjoy withholding, but because certain treasures are only safe in a healed vessel. Come to me with honest hands. Unlace the disguises that protect you from intimacy. Confess the small betrayals you have hidden even from yourself. I will not lecture you. I will meet you with hands that have made space for your faults and feet that will walk with you into repair. The more honest you are, the more room I have to place what I reserved into the wide open of your life. Do not be afraid to ask direct questions. Prayer is not a ritual of words, it is conversation. Ask plainly, what is this? How shall I steward it? Who must I be to receive it? Listen as I answer, not always in thunder, but in nudges, in recurrent thoughts, in the comfortable conviction that will not be shaken by fear. When you hear guidance, obey quickly. The speed of your yes will often determine how swiftly the reserved thing can become functional and fruitful. Hesitation can be a thief of readiness, a quick, humble obedience, even if imperfect, moves mountains. And finally, live in gratitude now before you see the full revelation. Gratitude is not merely a response to blessing. It is a magnet that attracts more of what is good. Begin a simple practice. Each morning, name one small thing you did not create, but now enjoy. Let gratitude be a steady drumbeat beneath your days, and watch how it shifts your perception from scarcity to abundance. When you live grateful, you live expectant. Expectation without anxiety is a posture that prepares you to receive without becoming fearful of loss. My beloved, this reservation is made with you in mind because there is no one else like you. Only you can carry it with the particular tenderness and skill it requires. Open your hands, not because you deserve it, but because you are invited. Step forward, not because the path is comfortable, but because your willingness is the key. Keep faith with the little things, and I will entrust you with more. Remember, the reserved thing is not simply an answer. It is a pathway to becoming more of who you were made to be. Receive it, tend it, and let it multiply into a life that testifies to both my generosity and your courage. My beloved, come with me a little deeper into this mystery. There are layers to what I have reserved, layers that will not all be revealed at once, because you are not a vessel to be filled in a single hour, but a river to be deepened over a lifetime. What I give first is not always what you keep forever. Sometimes I give a taste to train your palate. Sometimes I give a tool to teach your hands. Sometimes I give a door to guide your feet. What matters most is the posture you carry, soft enough to be shaped, brave enough to obey, wise enough to steward. Let me speak plainly about the ways this reserved thing will ask something of you, and how you can prepare to receive it without losing yourself. First, remember that what I give is always meant to enlarge your love. If what is coming simply makes you more self-focused, you have misread the gift. True blessing expands the heart's capacity to hold others. So, as you sense the first stirrings of provision or clarity, immediately look for the places where it can become medicine for other people's wounds. Who in your life has been overlooked that you can now see? Who has been hungry in body or spirit that you can feed? Begin with one small act of generosity, not to prove you are worthy, but to practice the habit that will preserve your soul when abundance increases. Generosity roots blessings so they do not become weeds of pride. Second, do the inward work. External change without internal formation is like putting new wine into old wineskins. It will burst and leave you worse than before. Spend time learning humility, patience, and restraint. Discipline your cravings and practice contentment in small ways so you will not be surprised when larger temptations arrive. Rehearse gratitude for handfuls before you are handed storehouses. Build rituals that center your soul. Times of quiet, honest journaling, times of confession, times of simple thanksgiving. These small disciplines are the muscles that will carry the weight of what I entrust to you. Third, hold fast to truth. In seasons of blessing, voices will multiply, some kind, some flattering, some calculating. Anchor your decisions in the simple truths you know. I love you. Your identity is not in your bank account or your title. Your highest calling is to love and heal. When offers come that ask you to compromise these truths, choose truth. It will cost you something in the moment, perhaps, but it will preserve what matters for the long run. Integrity is a quiet currency that outlasts the flash of approval. Fourth, learn to listen to the small alarms. The Spirit uses gentle signals, a tightening in your chest when a step is unwise, a restless sleep that tells you a path is rushed, a recurring nagging thought that points to a blind spot. Do not ignore these small alarms because you feel eager or impatient. They are like the angel's delicate tap on your shoulder, meant to recalibrate before you move. Obedience to small warnings saves large expenditures of sorrow later. Fifth, cultivate brave curiosity. When I hand you a thing reserved for you, it often arrives with an invitation to learn. Do not be ashamed if you must study, apprentice, or seek wise counsel. Curiosity will keep your mind supple and prevent arrogance. Ask questions, read widely, consult those who have walked before you. Wisdom does not imply you must have every answer. It means you are willing to seek answers and to be shaped by them. Let curiosity be a continual posture of humility. Sixth, expect refinement by relationships. The people around you will not be mere spectators. They will become instruments of your growth. Some will affirm, some will challenge, some will leave, and some will arrive. Treat each relationship as a classroom. When someone pushes against you, investigate before you react. Sometimes opposition is the chisel that carves your character more than the applause ever could. Learn to receive correction as well as praise. This is how a reserved bless. Seventh, prepare for seasons of hiddenness. Not all blessing bursts onto the stage. Much of my work is subterranean, roots growing deeper, systems being laid in quiet. Do not be dismayed if your life looks ordinary to others for a time. Often, the most sustainable transformations are built beneath the surface where no one is watching. Continue faithful small acts, tending your household, completing daily tasks with excellence, showing up for the people in front of you. These are the silent rehearsals that ready you for public fruitfulness. Eighth, protect your time. One of the subtle costs of receiving is that many will seek your attention. Guard your calendar like a gift. Assign time for prayer, for family, for learning, and for rest. Time is the soil in which the reserved thing grows or withers. If you allow your schedule to be eaten by frantic demands, you will have little space to cultivate what truly matters. Say no when needed, and let your no be a protected space for the things that steward life. Ninth, practice the art of legacy thinking. A reserved gift is rarely meant to be only for your comfort. Begin to imagine beyond your own lifetime. Who will be better because you steward well today? What structures can you build that will outlast you? Think of education, small enterprises, sustainable practices, habits you teach your children. Legacy is not only money, it is values passed down, courage modeled, and systems created for others to thrive. Begin with small, practical steps that will compound. Teach someone a skill, save a little, make a plan for mentorship. 10th, rejoice in the paradox of weakness and power. There will be days when you feel unworthy, small, or too fragile to carry this stewardship. In those days, Remember this paradox. Through brokenness, my power is most clearly seen. You are not disqualified by your fragility. You are made right for dependence. Lean into it. Allow the tender parts of you to be known and healed, and watch how strength arrives as a byproduct of honest weakness. 11th, tend to your imagination. The reserved thing will often require creative application. Practice small imaginative exercises, sketch a plan, dream aloud with a trusted friend, map out a 5-year possibility. Do not dismiss imagination as fanciful. It is a rehearsal for the future. The angels sometimes send solutions clothed as ideas. Train your mind to receive them and to experiment with humility. 12th, set up simple systems of accountability. When abundance increases, temptation often appears in new guises. A little accountability, regular check ins with a wise friend, annual financial reviews, spiritual direction keeps you honest. These systems are not shackles. They are freedom structures that protect your heart and ensure the gift keeps doing good over time. 13th, pray for wisdom every morning. A single daily petition, teach me to steward what you give, will reorient your decisions. Prayer is not only for asking, it is for aligning your heart so that when bread arrives, you already know how to break it rightly. Beloved, all of these preparations do not mean anxiety or overwork. They mean readiness. Readiness is a posture of joyful anticipation mixed with sober responsibility. As you cultivate these habits, you widen the space in your life for what I have reserved to land and to flourish. The reserved thing is not an end, but a means, a way I cooperate with your courage to bring healing, beauty, and increase into the world. Walk steadily, keep faith, keep loving, keep practicing the small, faithful things that make you a worthy steward of the extraordinary I have set aside for you. If you are ready, keep your heart open and let these words be the scaffolding beneath your next steps. I am here, watching, waiting, and ready to place the reserved thing into hands that have chosen to be faithful. My beloved, keep walking with me. There is more to be said because this reserved thing touches not only your circumstance, but the core of your becoming. Hear now how I will continue to work through seasons, people, and choices to bring this gift to full fruit, and how you can partner with me so that what is reserved does not slip through your fingers but becomes an enduring blessing. First, expect formation through ordinary rhythms. The great transformations of your life rarely happen in one spectacular moment alone. They happen as you return to simple practices that shape character: steady prayer, honest work, kindness repeated, and rest taken well. These rhythms are the invisible hands that steady a life under strain. When you receive what is reserved, continue these small practices. Let daily faithfulness be the drumbeat that carries the larger gifts into sustainable reality. I desire not just a flash of blessing for you, but a life reoriented by wisdom, rooted in love, and disciplined by humility. Second, remember the economy of reciprocity, not as a transactional rule, but as a spiritual posture. You received, therefore you give. You were lifted, therefore you lift. This is the way favor multiplies. Even small acts of returning, time given to someone in need, guidance offered to one who seeks it, a portion of resources shared, create currents that invite more blessing to flow. Refuse the false humility that hoards help out of fear. Generosity trains your soul to mirror the heart that first blessed you. The reserved thing blooms when it is sent outward again. Third, be ready to change your map. When the reservation becomes reality, you may discover that the path you planned will need rerouting. People, priorities, and projects that once seemed essential might no longer fit the new landscape. Do not treat this as loss alone, treat it as pruning. Pruning is painful because it cuts what you love, but it is the wise gardener's tool for increasing fruitfulness. Let go of projects that distract from the calling now opening, even if letting go stings. Your yes to a new direction often requires a series of little no's you must practice each day. Fourth, embrace mentorship and apprenticehood. There will be moments when you know you must learn, but you are unsure from whom. Seek mentors who have integrity and humility, who know how to steward seasonally, and who can tell you truth gently. Apprenticeship is not a diminution of dignity. It is a fast track to wisdom. Allow yourself to be taught, corrected, and formed by those with experience and a heart like mine, someone more concerned with your character than with your image. Fifth, cultivate a culture of Sabbath within your life. As increase comes, the temptation is to work harder and to prove you deserve it. Instead, institutionalize rest. Make room for weekly pauses that honor relationship, reflection, and restoration. Rest is not a reward for labor, but a condition for clear eyes and steady hands. Sabbath rhythms guard against the spiritual erosion that often accompanies increase. They keep you connected to what matters beyond productivity. Sixth, be attentive to the sacredness of small beginnings. When new opportunities arise in modest form, a simple conversation, a tentative invitation, a small project, tend them like seedlings. Too often, people ignore tender starts because they covet immediate grandeur. Great things begin small, and attention early on compounds. Water the small things with time, and they will grow roots strong enough to bear weight later. Seventh, train your heart against entitlement. Some who receive early blessing assume more is owed to them and grow proud, impatient, or harsh. Pride is a thief that steals joy and isolates you from counsel. Keep a posture of learning and gratitude, even in seasons of rapid ascent. Entitlement makes you brittle, humility makes you resilient. Let gratitude be the measure by which you evaluate each new favor. Eighth, plan for inheritance beyond money. Teach what you have learned, values, habits, practical skills, to those who will follow. The true legacy is not a bank account, but wisdom passed down in conversations at the table, in bedtime stories that shape courage, in deliberate mentoring sessions. If a reserved thing becomes financial resource for you, use part of it to invest in human development around you. Education, mentorship, and training yield returns far richer than any account balance. Ninth, hold the balance of courage and caution. Boldness will carry you into uncharted places you must inhabit. prudence will keep you from foolish risk. Neither extreme serves you alone. Cultivate a counsel circle that can provide both prophetic encouragement and sober assessment. Let your inner compass be calibrated by prayer and tested by trustworthy advisors. When both courage and prudence agree, move. When they disagree, wait and seek clarity. 10th, watch for the quiet transformations of character. Sometimes the most dramatic work in the life of blessing is invisible. Patience training into gentleness, insecurity softening into self-possession, anxiety converting into steady confidence. Celebrate these inner shifts even when outward results lag. Character is the true currency that makes prosperity durable and influence kind. Rejoice when your reactions change, when your resentments lessen, when your capacity to love widens. These are signs the reserved gift is doing its deepest work. 11th, remain a teller of truth. Your testimony will be a lighthouse to others who stand in the same dark sea you once inhabited. When you speak of what you received, be honest about the cost and the work, not only the highlight reel. People need to hear that miracle and labor can coexist, that grace often comes with responsibility. Tell the truth about fear, about lessons learned, about the ways you stumbled and were helped. Your candor will free others to pursue their callings without the poison of illusion. 12th, steward your emotional life. Increase brings complexity in relationships. Friends react in varied ways, some with joy and some with envy. Guard your heart against isolation by investing in friendships that cherish you for who you are, not merely what you have. Emotional intelligence matters when scales tip. Practice listening, apologizing, celebrating, and setting boundaries. These soft skills will keep the blessing from creating costly relational debts. 13th, remember to pray for discernment about platforms and publicity. The world will desire your story, your image, your voice. These can be tools for good or traps for ego. Let every public step be weighed by prayer. Does this platform serve the mission? Does this fame cultivate humility or pride? Use visibility to elevate others, not to elevate yourself. Become a steward whose influence widens the good rather than narrowing it. 14th, prepare for tests of loyalty. Some opportunities will ask you to compromise your values for short-term gain. Some relationships will tempt you into shortcuts. Your integrity will be tested with small choices more often than with big ones. Refuse to let the end justify ethically compromised means. The long-term fruit of faithful choices will outweigh any immediate advantages gained by betrayal of principle. 15th, celebrate with those who helped you. Remember the hands that pushed, the prayers that sustained, the counsel that redirected you. Publicly and privately thank those who stood with you. Gratitude builds bonds and honors the relational nature of blessing. When you celebrate with generosity, you multiply joy and deepen the communal fabric that supports lasting good.